I'm so sick of people gatekeeping Doctor Who. Well, hi all, I have been gone for a bit. I've been quite busy with recording and editing a pretty big side project. Shameless plug, go watch my D&D show. But I am back to do some damage control over the toxic fans of Doctor Who, because today we are talking about the first of Doctor Who's 3 60th anniversary specials, and the return of Russell T Davies as showrunner, with David Tennant as the 14th Doctor, and Catherine Tate back as Donna Noble. That's right, we are talking about the Star Beast. Alright, let's do a little background for anyone who doesn't know what the hell Doctor Who is. Doctor Who is a British sci-fi serial show from BBC that started back in 1963. It follows an alien who refers to themselves as the Doctor, who travels via their spaceship through time and space, or time in relative dimensions in space to be exact. Now, you might be wondering, how can a show last from 1963 to 2023 with the same actor as the Doctor? Well, that's the nifty thing. They don't need the same actor. You see, the Doctor has this ability which is called regenerating.
But it's a bit dodgy, this process. You never know what you're going to end up with. Every cell in my body's dying.
Can't you do something?
Yeah, I'm doing it now. Time Lords have this little trick. It's sort of a way of cheating death. It means I'm going to change.
If they die, their body resets itself and transforms them into a new form, and that's why there has been 13 main actors for the Doctor, as well as a few offshoots, and thus is why the show has such longevity. Plus, a new head actor and more likely a new team running the show behind the scenes probably helps. Yes, it was cancelled back in 1989, but came back 16 years later, and that's why if you ever hear people saying Classic Who versus NuWho, that's what they mean. Classic Who being the 1st through 7th Doctors from 1963 to 1989, a movie for the 8th Doctor in 1996, and then NuWho being the 9th through currently the 14th Doctor from 2005 and onwards. Unless the 14th onward is a new era of Who. There is speculation on that, and that is up in the air as of writing this on December 2nd, 2023, but anyways. The Doctor is an alien known as a Time Lord, beings that are humanoid like us but have mastered the way of space and time travel, and the Doctor became almost a rogue Time Lord that decided to steal a TARDIS, a spaceship whose chameleon circuit has been stuck as a 1960s English police box, and help people all around the universe. Doctor Who as a show follows a pretty basic form. It is almost a Monster of the Week-esque show, like Supernatural, X-Files, Buffy, etc., where the Doctor and their human companion, or companions usually, stop an alien from doing something bad to Earth or somewhere else. All the while we as an audience see the companions learn and grow from the vast universe and the knowledge and experience of the Doctor, and the Doctor learn from humanity, of which the show often portrays as flawed yet resilient people whose care and emotion for other life impacts the Doctor, and vice versa. So let's get to the damage control bit. So some people, who I'll just call them chuds for now, kinda sounds like an alien Chad, feel that Doctor Who has become too woke, and shoving rhetoric in your face and down your throat. Now, I hate to call myself an expert in Doctor Who, not just because I would be wrong in saying expert, and as an American it feels icky to claim that, but I can assure you I have had more knowledge of Doctor Who than most people, especially those who only started Doctor Who in the NuWho era of 2005 or later. This is because I grew up with Classic Who. My stepfather is from London and showed my older brothers and I stories from 1 through 7 and the 8th Doctor's movie years before Christopher Eccleston ever came on as the 9th Doctor, and actually even to that point we saw the 9th Doctor before it ever premiered in America because my stepdad got DVDs and used a regional disc player. Anyways, besides the point. All this to say, I know Doctor Who. I have had books and books of Doctor Who. I have 80s and 90s toys of Daleks. I have seen the non-canon movies with Peter Cushing and more. I know Who. Why this is important is because if you know Who, you know one thing. Doctor Who has always been woke. This isn't new. This isn't different. There hasn't been a change. In fact, for those who didn't know, Russell T Davies, the showrunner when NuWho came back and who has now returned for the 60th specials and will continue after that, is a queer man. He is the creator of the original Queer as Folk show. Nothing here is new. He is the same man with the same storytelling, same passions, and sure, same agendas. But before Davies, Classic Who was also woke. The show, created by Canadian Sydney Newman, only got legs at all at the BBC because of a woman, Verity Lambert, who, mind you, was the youngest and first woman producer at the BBC. And the first director of the show was Waris Hussein, their first Asian director, and also is himself a gay man. The show, since its beginnings, has openly critiqued misogyny, war, racism, capitalism, and other politically charged topics, including homophobia and transphobia.
Time to call a halt. It's time that the world awoke to the alarm bell of pollution instead of sliding down the slippery slopes of...
Can't make ends meet. Probably too many economists in the government.
These taxes, they are like sacrifices to tribal gods?
Well, roughly speaking, but paying tax is more painful.
What's a girl like you doing in a job like this? Well, when I was a little girl, I thought I'd like to be a scientist, so I became a scientist.
A great big empire built on slavery.
It's not so different from your time.
Oh, I haven't got slaves.
What do you think made your clothes?
The end point of capitalism. Bottom line, where human life has no value at all. We're fighting an algorithm.
Women might train to be doctors, but hardly as giddy and hardly one of your colour.
Oh, do you think?
England for the English, good heavens, man. I have a duty to my country, not to the world.
He's making it up. There's no weapons up there, there's no threat. He just invented it.
Do you think they'll believe it?
What he did last time.
Well, you're a young woman. This is a job for my men.
Well, of all the bigoted, anti-feminist, cretinous remarks...
It's all the same, really. A bland assumption of male superiority.
May God bless the good ship women's lib and all who sail in her.
This is a scale model of war. Every war ever fought right there in front of you. Because it's always the same.
I never would. We've got that. I never would.
In the newest episode, The Star Beast, a lot of gender identity is discussed, since the Doctor's companion Donna Noble has a transgender daughter named Rose Noble, played by trans actress Yasmin Finney from Heartstopper. And chuds everywhere are up in arms about Doctor Who being woke, which to all of them I say, why do you care? Many are trying to say, well, it's bad writing, they're shoving it down my throat, blah 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 blah, but I just disagree. Listen, Doctor Who has definitely had its ups and downs of writing, I get it. Like, for example, I love Jodie Whittaker and I think her portrayal of the Doctor was wonderful, but I can admit, I think Chris Chibnall, the showrunner during her tenure, had bad writing. I think it was a case of a good Doctor, but not well thought out stories, and I think even when they would have their woke moments, it wasn't written very seamlessly or well, in my opinion. And two things on that. One, I didn't take to the internet like a storm bashing the show, nor two, did I ever criticize the show for trying to shed lights on topics that needed it. But that's just how I feel. I still appreciate what they were trying to do, because I support the show. It's important stuff. But when it comes to the Star Beast, I think it's pretty seamless with the story being told, because they just addressed that Rose was transgender and they made it seem real. It was an important representation. They didn't just slap she's trans and move on. They made the characters in the world and the story feel real for addressing it. And again, sorry chuds, but why do you care? Why don't you think it's important that out of 5.08 million viewers of the first episode when it launched, people got representation or at least some education about trans identities and awareness? Because let's roll it back a bit. In case you forgot,
we want to do a science fiction serial. Legitimate stuff, though. That travel about space and time, getting into scrapes. We want history, too. Proper history. The kids at home should learn something.
Doctor Who was originally made to be a fun serial show for children that was also educational. And if nothing, it is being told currently by a queer person who wants to bring light to these topics that are being misportrayed in the media, i.e. hate against trans people and women, which I think the episode did best in supporting and giving good representation to both. I mean, hell, I'm non-binary, and hearing Rose say non-binary when Donna was saying binary.
Binary. Non-binary. Binary.
Even if it sounded silly, meant the world to me. And sorry, if you don't like Doctor Who being portrayed through a queer lens, then maybe you should delete your history with Doctor Who, because there has been a lot of rainbow paint slashed across the show from Classic Who to NuWho. Some examples of queer people and characters associated with Doctor Who over the years, starting with Classic Who, Waris Hussein, the first director of Doctor Who, a gay Indian man, Jeffrey Belden, a gay actor who played Organon in The Creature from the Pit in 1979, Tegan and Nyssa, companions of the 4th and the 5th Doctor, have been confirmed to be gay during the memory TARDIS scenes that have just come out recently for the 60th anniversary.
I was fast asleep, in bed. I said goodnight to Nyssa, and
Turlough, the 5th Doctor's companion, is heavily queer-coded. Matthew Waterhouse, who played Adric, is gay. Sub-representation, not exactly the most enlightening, but still nods can be seen as in the Happiness Patrol story from the 7th Doctor. The Patrol have a victim that is in fact wearing the same symbol that was used during the Holocaust to mark queer people in internment camps known as Die Rosa Winkel. And anyone who thinks this is a stretch, let me remind you, the Daleks and their humanoid predecessors, the Khalid, are literally allegories for Nazis. So no, I don't think this is a stretch. There is another example in Classic Who that I'll show later, as I'm sure sure there are even more if you look hard enough. Going on to NuWho, we of course have Russell T Davies, a queer showrunner, Mark Gatiss, a writer for and few times actor in Doctor Who over the years between 2005 and 2017, is also a queer man. Captain Jack Harkness is an omnisexual character played by John Barrowman, a queer man, and Captain Jack has done many homosexual things on screen, like kissing the Ninth Doctor, an implied night with the character Alonzo from The Voyage of the Damned, played by Russell Tovey, a queer actor as well. In the spin-off Torchwood, Captain Jack dates Yanto Jones, and in the 13th Doctor series, he kisses Grandma Brian. There is May and Alice Cassini, an older lesbian couple from the episode Gridlock, Sky Silvestri from Midnight, she says she has a wife, Madame Vastra and Jenny Flint are a lesbian couple, River Song mentions she has been married to both men and women, Canton from The Impossible Astronaut is gay.
Canton just wants to get married.
This person you want to marry, black? Yes, he is.
These Marines from A Good Man Goes to War are married. Clara Oswald mentions offhand a few times very bisexual comments. One example is her allegedly kissing Jane Austen.
Jane Austen. Amazing writer, brilliant comic observer, and strictly amongst ourselves, a phenomenal kisser.
Bill Potts is an open and very proud lesbian companion. Heather is a lesbian, and her and Bill's love interest is an overarching story and plot point in Series 10. This Roman in The Eaters of Light literally tells Bill he's bisexual, because guess what? We've always existed. And let's just talk about the Time Lords.
From the first day at the academy, she was my man crush.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. I think she was the man back then. I'm fairly sure that I was too. It was a long time ago.
So, look, Time Lords, a bit flexible on the whole like man-woman thing then, yeah?
We're the most civilized civilization in the universe. We're billions of years beyond your petty human obsession with gender and its associated stereotypes.
There you go. So basically all Time Lords are gender non-conforming or non-binary and pansexual, so throw the Doctor and the Master/Missy in. And obviously so, since both regenerate at a point into women and identify as women when they regenerate, when previously they did identify as men. So Rose in the Star Beast saying this,
Because the Doctor's male and female.
And neither. And more.
is true. Then to top it all off, Yaz likes the 13th Doctor, and it's seen and discussed as a mutual interest, even if unfulfilled.
Have you ever told her
Told her what?
how you feel about her?
Yaz, I can't fix myself. Say anything, anywhere, or anyone. I've never been able to. Not because I don't want to. Because I might.
Of which even Billie Piper confirmed Rose Tyler would also be attracted to the 13th Doctor. I mean, hell, RTD's reboot for the show was written as an AIDS epidemic survivor, and you can see that in the show if you go back and watch. And going forward, if you're a chud, I promise you, it's going to get even gayer than it has been in the past. We have our first out Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, taking the role as the 15th Doctor, and then we have a whole list of queer actors coming to the screen. First off being Neil Patrick Harris as the Toymaker, Saturday the 9th, and then in Ncuti's series, we have both Jonathan Groff and one of my favorite drag performers of all time, Jinx Monsoon, gracing the show. And I'm sure it won't stop there from the things I've seen sprinkled online from RTD's discussions of the new iteration of the show. But let's talk about the first episode, The Star Beast. I'll do non-gender politics complaints first. People say it's a middle-of-the-road episode, which I just have to disagree. It's so fun. The 14th Doctor is fun, Donna is fun, Sean, Rose, Sylvia, all fun. The Meep is an amazing spectacle and puppet work, and is voice acted by Miriam Margolyes, who is also queer, if that wasn't known. The Rarth are cool and fun in their interrogation scene. We have representation for the disabled community with Shirley Ann Bingham, who is a badass character. It's just fun and refreshing, and it's based off a Doctor Who comic from 1980 with the 4th Doctor, and it just works. And with the fixing of the meta-crisis problem at the end, it does make sense.
Too much power for one person, but you had a child, and the meta-crisis passed down. A shared inheritance.
It made sense that the meta-crisis passed down to Rose. If River Song being conceived in the TARDIS allows for her to regenerate,
Tip for you all, never shoot a girl while she's regenerating.
I think the meta-crisis passing down from Donna to Rose works very similarly and makes sense. But the biggest woke complaints I hear are that people don't like there's a trans character at all in the episode, which this isn't the first time.
Soon the sun will blossom into a red giant, and my home will die. That's where I used to live when I was a little boy, down there.
And sure, that was a more blink and you'll miss it scene, but just like in the show, time goes on. And we are in a day and age where a lot of media, especially Western media, is condemning and attacking trans lives and existences. So I think a light showing trans lives, some struggles, and reality to ground some real world truths is very necessary and important. And I think that identity having that success in the end with the meta-crisis problem is also important and necessary. Also, when it comes to this line right here,
It's a shame you're not a woman anymore. She'd have understood. We've got all that power, but there is a way to get rid of it. Something a male-presenting Time Lord will never understand. Just let it go. And we choose to let it go.
Who cares? It's a passing line that's fun and whatever. If this was written as a flip gender thing, no one would bat an eye. Who cares? Another huge one I see is this scene.
Meep.
Yes, the meep. I promise I can help him get home and then you'll never see me again.
You're assuming he as a pronoun.
True. Yes, sorry, good point. Are you he or she or they?
My chosen pronoun is the definite article. I am always the meep.
Oh, I do that.
And first of all, two things. This is not the first time they've discussed pronouns on Doctor Who. They actually did it all the way back in 1972 during the Curse of the Peladon story for John Pertwee's third Doctor and his companion Jo Grant talking about the alien known as Alpha Centauri.
Yes, thank you for reminding me.
Unfortunately, the success of our mission is threatened. Violently.
Perhaps you'd be kind enough to explain that to me from the beginning.
Still think you're jumping to conclusions.
Well, who else could be responsible? I hardly think Centauri would hurt a fly, would you?
No, I think he's rather sweet. Or is he as she?
Neither. She's an it. It's a hermaphrodite hexapod.
As well as stated earlier, the Doctor literally was just a woman, and often they just say, I'm just the Doctor when people ask who they are.
Call me the Doctor. Why don't you just call me Doctor?
Might I suggest you just call me Doctor?
I'm the Doctor. The definite article, you might say.
I'm called the Doctor.
And I am known as the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
I am the Doctor!
I'm just the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
Name, not rank.
The Doctor.
Surname?
The Doctor.
You're called the Doctor.
Yes, I am.
I'm the Doctor. Call me Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor. Ring any bells?
That literally supersedes gender. How is that not understood? RTD is just addressing in the setting of a trans experience to show relation and normalcy to it. Plus, everyone who works on the show is all in support of it. David Tennant isn't wearing queer and trans buttons, pins, shirts to please people who are woke, according to the Chuds. He is doing that because he is helping people who are constantly being scrutinized, bullied, and killed. He and others involved with Doctor Who are just showing their allyship. I hate to, it's current year, but truly, it's 2023, people. Times change. Writing changes. Representation changes. It is a show that has always been progressive, and I'm sure, especially now, will continue to be so. I mean, look at what the 14th Doctor said in the second special.
Was it me, or was Isaac Newton hot?
He was, wasn't he? He was so hot. Oh. Is that who I am now?
Well, it was never that far from the surface, mate.
Doesn't sound like the Doctor straight to me. And to kind of tie it all up, for a show that is all about helping people across the universe, no matter their shape, size, or identity, it's quite appalling to see so much homophobic and transphobic toxicity being spewed over something that I'm sure made thousands of people, if not more, feel safe when watching this episode. I don't know what gave any chuds the idea that Doctor Who was a heteronormative and or conservative show, because if that's what you're wanting or expecting, maybe it's time to leave. Because I can guarantee you one thing, the TARDIS is bigger on the inside for those with open minds looking to better humanity and focus on the future. Well, with that, I want to thank everybody who has made it to the end of the video. Sorry again, I've been gone for a while, but thought it was important to come back and give support to a show that means a lot to me and has for almost 3 decades of living now. And not to shameless plug again, but if you want to see more of me between video essays, go check out my D&D live play show, The Table Is Yours, over on our YouTube channel or Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and anywhere you find your podcasts. We release videos and podcasts every Wednesday, and it's been a blast so far. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But yeah, I'd really appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and comment what you're most looking forward to in this new era of Doctor Who. But with that, I wish everybody a happy holiday and New Year, and I'll see you next time. Bye!